is when these erectile tissue, when this stuff starts to become engorged, and there's more blood flow, all the nerve endings that are around start to become more sensitive. They basically, they're already sensitive, but when there's more blood flow and more engorged, they become, everything's online now. In the same way that as guys, when we're masturbating, you just throw a bunch of lube in your hand and just kind of play with your flaccid penis. Not the same sensation as when you're hard and you're playing with your penis. So it's very similar. And I've done this taught this with men in the room, and they're like, oh. And I had one guy go, oh. Oh my God, this makes so much sense. Because we have a tendency, if you're getting our visual cues from porn, to just think, we just stick our fingers in and we just start going. And what's happening for most women, the experience is nothing's really ready yet. Like, everybody's body's different. Some people's bodies take a long time, some people's don't. Everybody's different. And for some people, like the ones that take a long time, they get frustrated because they're like, I wish I was quicker. I don't really have anything like magic, ding, to relieve your brain of that. But it is really like love and honor your body as much as you can, and sometimes your body is frustrated.
And then find things that work for you, and when you find that something can turn you on really fast, remember that and then communicate that. And
those can be anchors to we'll talk a little bit about quickies, like how do you create quickie experiences that aren't painful, and some of that stuff is about what's erotic, because I'll talk about that when I get to it. But around anatomy stuff, pumping or engorged, basically if you're just playing with somebody's genitals, you're giving them time for their genitals to get warmed up.
Yeah, just the experience where if you suck for a long time, it will fill up, and it's like, I was wondering if that's the same type of engorged, where it's like, the blood flows in there.
Yeah, it's not like you're creating a hickey, it's not like you're sucking blood into there. Basically, you're sucking on somebody's genitals, you're stimulating their genitals, there's probably more blood coming on the way.
Okay.
Unless they super don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's not like you can speed up somebody's engorgement.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be trying to figure out how to do that faster. What you should be doing is enjoying the time you're spending there. And understand that if I spend more time, I'll get better results usually. And sometimes you just don't have time. It's like your parents are going to be home in 5 minutes, let's go. Like, now! And then you have to figure out, okay, how do we do this? And that's where knowing your lover's bodies and you knowing your own body, that's where those things can be really helpful, because it's like, well, if you do this and that, and then, tell me this in my ear and that voice that you do, then we're good to go. And those are more like erotic anchor points, which are useful when you need, pull this lever, push this button, and twist this, and we're ready. That's not what we're talking about today, but all of these systems for that, like, I'm ready, these are the systems that partially what we need to be online and ready. Why the engorged part is important is not only like when we play with our penises, not only do I feel more sensation, because there's more blood there and the nerves are kind of woken up, but I don't want to play this one. Basically, hang on. I can, basically somebody's pelvis, there's all these muscles, these just sheets of muscle, your pubic pelvic floor. All these muscles are woven, and then there's your diaphragm and all this other stuff. But basically, a lot of these systems, and the anus as well, all these tubes, your urethra, your clit that comes out to the outside, they're all running through these sheets of muscles. And like when you squeeze, like you all just kind of pump your butt, like squeeze your ass and then release, like almost like you're trying not to pee, like you're peeing and now you have to stop peeing. Peeing, stop peeing. Just pumping that, your PC muscles, what you're doing is you're squeezing the musculature that's around a lot of these nerve centers and then releasing them and squeezing and releasing them. So you're creating sensations on the inside. those muscles and tubes and stuff run through these sheets of muscles that line your pelvic floor. So when I squeeze my muscles, I'm moving the pelvic floor muscles and then relaxing them and moving them. When I change my body positions, I'm moving those sheets of muscles. Okay? Pretend this is your clip and it's coming through these sheets of muscles. Or I'm squeezing it and relaxing. This is more the anus, right? But squeezing and relaxing, squeezing and relaxing. So I can create, just by shifting my body, torque on whole systems of nerve endings inside my pelvis that are there to create pleasure. It works best when everything's engorged, because then they're tighter, and then the shifting creates more sensation. This is why we want to hump. Because you're unconsciously wanting to create more pleasure, and so you're torquing your own genitals, basically, and nerve endings inside your pelvis. Okay? Yes. Okay? So part of what I'm going to be talking about today when we're doing our demo is actually like ways you can manually manipulate and torque people's pelvic floor muscles. And that works better when people's erectile tissue is engorged. Make sense? So this is kind of like the basics for the approach to hand sex. Is you're just playing with people's erectile tissue and the nerve ending, the nerve centers in their pelvis to generate more pleasure. And hopefully you've communicated so that they feel safe and the touch is consensual, like so they can actually let their walls down, so psychologically they're not throwing up blocks as well. And then once you do that, and then for you as the person who owns the vagina or the vulva, if you can get out of your own head and just be in your body so that you can sense the sensation you're having, that stuff starts to all kind of build up and create like a lot of, almost like a feedback loop. Like you start sensing your pleasure, and the sensing of your pleasure is pleasurable, which creates more sensation, and then you have somebody who's doing the right things, and you're communicating so you feel safe, and then all of a sudden, just your ability to feel becomes larger. And then that amount of pleasure is ideally creating all kinds of sorts of unique benefits. Some of them will be orgasm, but not always. That's kind of the quick boom, boom, boom. Make sense?